met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Just south of Seneca Lake, amidst the rolling vineyards and woodlands in upstate New York's Finger Lakes region, sits a shrine of American motorsport. Watkins Glen International is more than just a racetrack. It's the birthplace of post-war road racing in North America, a worthy test of some of the best drivers to ever sit in a race car. Today, the Glen hosts NASCAR Cup and Xfinity Series races, as well as a 6-hour crown jewel of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, SCCA Professional and Amateur Racing, ARCA Menard Series, and a major vintage racing weekend at the beginning of September. It's also been home to some major concerts and other festivals. Over the years, the Glen has been lengthened once and continually upgraded. A lap around today's Grand Prix circuit still incorporates much of the original layout. The first turn, known as the 90, a right-hander, good place to pass. Then it's up towards the S's, a series of 3 fast sweeping apexes leading onto the backstretch. The cars reach their top speed. Stock cars upwards of 170 miles an hour before hard braking before the bus stop at the end of the straightaway. Here the track doubles back through the carousel, followed by another long straight into the fast left-hand turn 10. It's definitely harder than it looks. The last corner, turn 11, another fast right-hander that leads out onto the main straightaway. Racing first came to the Glen in 1948 in the form of the Watkins Glen Grand Prix, an SCCA-sanctioned event that ran on more than 6-mile course over the back roads of the town. The success of that event eventually led to the construction of a permanent facility. The resulting product, a little more than a third in length of the original street course. 1957, the track hosted its first race, a NASCAR Grand National Series event won by Buck Baker over Fireball Roberts. The following year, Formula Libre showed up, and not long after that, Watkins Glen hit the big time. In 1961, Formula One came to the little town by the lake, bringing with it some of the most legendary names in motorsports. For the next 2 decades, the home of the United States Grand Prix was Watkins Glen. The early 80s saw some tough times for the Glen. F1 held its last race there in 1980, and it was closed to all but spectator-free SCCA meets for 2 years. The track would soon recover under new ownership. In 1986, NASCAR's top series returned to the Glen, and with it, a whole new renaissance for the track began. Tonight, it's the DEP Graphics Truck Series HBR 110 at the Glen, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Watkins Glen International with its relatively recent scan by iRacing, pretty accurate rendition of the Speedway, though it is virtual. But we've got some good racing here tonight, qualifying just about set to get underway. A 10-minute session, I believe, here in the DEP Graphics Truck Series. Let's take a look at our point standings as we come into tonight. Of course, Zach Millett atop of the points, 147 points, that is, above Joe Bennett, Chris Klein, and Brian Rose. Ironically, a 3-way tie for that position. One more race here before we get into the playoffs. Numb Thumbs Racing League. And again, we are on a road course. It's certainly not something we do very often here in Numb Thumbs, though it has been part of the series. Let's take a look at a lap around Watkins Glen if we can. What's right on board? I was turning some laps earlier today, so let's take a look at a lap around Watkins Glen. Coming out of turn 11, you're going to grab third gear and just about start finish. You're going to catch fourth gear. You hit the brakes here right at that yellow light sign. Hard braking, second gear, a little loose on entry. Turn all the way to the bottom. Don't hit that big part of the curve. Carry it out to the left the best that you can. Second gear, third gear, a little lift on the throttle here as you work up through the S's and back to the gas as straight as you can, as hard as you can. And then carefully here, tiptoe through under power. Try to get that power down without causing too much of a problem. Exit turn 4 and it's wide open all the way down the back straightaway here. The truck might touch 170 depending. 167 into the bus stop. Get as close to that Armco as you can. Right, left, right. Third gear, some may take it in second, but you're going to be second gear here through the carousel. And again, gingerly on the throttle. Get the right sides to the inside curve there for a little bit more grip. Run it real wide here to that paved runoff. Again, wide open again, down into the short chute. Left-hand turn 10 just after the bridge. Hard braking, third gear corner. Gentle on throttle again, a little too much here, wide on exit, and then back in turn 11, right after the tire pack, into second gear, again, ginger on throttle, corner exit, and that's a lap around Watkins Glen. Qualifying underway, 2 minutes in already. Brandon Coleman on track, about to take the green flag on his first lap. Little scary on exit to turn 1. To this point, no lap has been officially completed. 2 minutes into the session. Again, a longer session here. Way deep on the brakes into the bus stop. Coleman got her woed down. Pretty good through there. Now Coleman sounds like he's running third gear here on exit. Again, every driver has their preference. It's a little bit easier to handle if you're in third versus second. He's got fourth gear now into turn 10. Again, the left-hander. A little bit of rear brake down into that 19 truck, a little loose on exit. That's going to cost him some time as well. Alfie Charon crosses the stripe. He's fastest thus far. Minute 14:271. Zach Millett finishes lap number 1. Where does he land? Does he knock Alfie off? He does. Minute 13.29 seconds for that S4 guy. He's still in the throttle. Is he going to give it another go? Oh, might have gone too wide. Maybe an off track for Zach Millett. Still in the throttle, though. We'll stay with him for this lap. See if he can pick up a time here. Very quick lap. Talk about car control. You see that truck wanting to step out. Seems like every second or two with Millett on power. Back into turn 10. That drone out of the trees. Millett across the line. Lap 2. 13:29. And I think that lap was negated just based on that off track. Ryan Rose finishes up his lap time of 14:332. Vincent Short on track. Start his run on his first lap of the session. Looking pretty smooth so far. Short coming out of turn 11 here, complete lap 1 of his attempt. Short doesn't get a time there, maybe an off track, not sure where he got it, but he's gonna have to keep his foot down in the throttle. Lawson into the bus stop. Lawson finishes up his lap, puts him into the top 10. Vincent Short going to finish up his lap here off 11. See what he can get. 1:16.520 for Short, 12th quick. Tim Pope, the only driver not to take a time, actually two, Tim Pope and Juan Jimenez. Still about 2 minutes remain in the session. We're going to get a break out of the way before we get to our starting grid. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
lost in a bottle. Lord, I can't stop feeling sorry for myself. I'm drowning on sorrow. Girl, want you and nobody else. I keep on looking every day and every night, but I just don't know where that baby of mine. Well, I just don't know. Have mercy, brother.
Back at Watkins Glen International Race 10 of the DEP Graphics Truck Series. Let's take a look at our starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 1 minute 13.290 seconds. It's that S4 guy, the 315 of Zach Millen. Outside, front row, HBR associate Alfie Cherian. That is, number 78 starts in P2. Row number 2, it's Brian Rose, the number 89, and Andy Sizemore in the 27. Starting from the 5th spot, Nick Cote, the number 94, with Mike Adamson, number 751, Limitless Motorsports entry, rolling off from the 6th position. Starting 7th, Paul Durkee, the number 13 truck, Justin Lawson, the number 20 starts in the 8th spot. 9th goes to Brandon Coleman. 10th, Chris Klein. 11th, Double O Joe Bennett. NTR plus EV Racing. Well, it's the 00. He starts in the 11th spot. Vincent Short, uncharacteristic qualifying run in this road course for the 15. He'll start in the 12th position. 13th goes to Jeff Ottinger, the 76, with wicked loose racing. Robert Chipman Jr., the 55, starts 14th. Blaine Woodruff rolls from the 15th spot. Tony Polk will start 16th. 17th goes to Scott Milner. 18th, Juan Jimenez in shotgun on the field, the 728 of Timothy Pope. Interestingly, though, Jeff Ottinger and Tim Pope have not taken to the starting grid as of yet. Maybe starting from the pits, we shall see. That is your starting grid here from Watkins Glen. Field working out of the carousel right now. Should be going to the green flag here this time by. Pace truck pulls off. Barney the flagman with the green in hand.
Green flag, green flag.
We're racing from the Glen. Over Alfie Chair in 1.6 seconds as he works his way down into turns 10 and 11. Lap 1 going to be complete here in just a moment. And we got a spinner, possibly. Nick Cote in trouble. The 94 gets a little loose on corner exit. Local yellows only here right now at the Glen in this particular league. Cote goes from a top 5 all the way to the tail on that opening lap. Try to get a look, see what happened here with the 94 again into turn 10. Back it up a little bit further here. Gets a little too much to the inside, gets that inside curve. He might have been okay if he just locked it down. Probably wouldn't have gotten any part of the Armco. Does get a small piece. Looks like he's going to survive this, though, and drive away. So Millett out of the carousel again has stretched his lead by a factor of double over Alfie Charon again. Now it's 3 seconds into turn 10. You see everyone back behind him quite a ways. Alfie's starting to run away as well from the rest of the field, though. Don't let that 78 fool you. He's a pretty good road racer himself. Race distance here tonight, 45 laps, effectively half a cup race. 110 miles, rounded. There will be a competition caution about lap 20. Again, the majority of the drivers in this particular league, not road racers by trade. These guys are definitely oval-based racers more than anything else. Trying to get everybody a good opportunity here to regroup here. Not quite at halfway, that lap 20 caution that we do expect to come out. The interesting tidbit to it is that lap 20 caution is about 1 lap longer than the anticipated fuel run. Most guys saying they can only make it about 19 laps unless they really hunker down and save fuel. Yes, you might make it to lap 20, but then you've got to go all the way around under caution. So hopefully these guys are smart about it. They take the opportunity to hit pit lane before the caution comes out. Follow up on some penalties for the race. Russ Kilgore was given an EOL for avoidable contact at Chicagoland last week. Brian Rose also given a penalty for his retaliation of that incident last week at Chicagoland. Brian Rose having a good run so far. He qualified way better than where he's running, but had to go to the rear as we just spoke about with his EOL penalty. He's worked his way up into the 9th spot. Meanwhile, Jeff Ottinger, Tim Pope, neither driver took the green flag tonight. Rose goes up another spot in front of Double O Joe Bennett. Ryan Rose, a good exit to turn 1, checks up just a bit to avoid contact with the 20 of Lawson. Had a real good exit. Lawson did not have as good of an exit. That's what it's all about here, road racing. Apexes and exits. Friends don't let friends apex early. Throw another quote into the mix. If everything feels under control, you're not going fast enough. Ryan Rose on the move, still marching towards the front here, up into P7. They get harder and harder to pass the closer to the front you go. Meanwhile, back up front, Zach Millett off turn 11. Lead over Alfie Charon is stabilized to about 6 seconds, 6 laps in. Last lap for Millett, a 14:25. That's a 1 minute 14. Alfie Charon a 14:82, so not as fast, but holding his own. Battle for the 8th spot. Justin Lawson, 00 Joe Bennett, Vincent Short. Short's up a couple of spots. Started P12. It's right on board with Vince. Shallow entry. Want to shout out to everybody in the stream chat that jumped in early here. Patrick Dixon, Tom Haley, Chris Gones, Cody Anderson. Thanks for jumping in and saying hi, guys. Certainly do appreciate. Justin Lawson having a little trouble getting out of turn 1. He saw the back of the truck step out on him just a bit. So easy to make that happen. Well, Brian Rose continues his march towards the front here. Next on the hit list for the 89 is going to be P5 Mike Adamson. Had an issue on track. Maybe that was just a couple laps ago. It's just now registering. Let's take a look, see if we can catch what happened here. Looks like down into turn 1. 22 truck, so good on ovals. Just loses the back of the truck on exit. So easy to do. But you saw what we talked about there on lap 1 with the 94. Juan just locked it down on the brakes and the truck stops coming around. It's not great for the tires. Does put a couple of flat spots in all 4. But he doesn't go around. Lifts off the brake and continues on. Brian Rose still stalking 751 of Adamson. Not a typical place to make a pass. Brian Rose gets it done. Goes to the inside on the exit of the bus stop, in through the carousel. Move Brian Rose up to P5. Rose running the HBRshops.com F-150. New colors on that truck this week. Of course, Holler Boys Racing jumping on board to sponsor tonight's race. The Holler Boys Racing 110 at the Glen. Battle for position. This is for the 11th spot. Justin Lawson in 10th. Really, it's a battle for 9th, I guess. Vincent Short further up ahead. No, Chris Klein here. Yes, the battle for 10th. Sorry. Justin Lawson has P10. Chris Klein, Nick Cote all in a row here. Cote's a little bit quicker, though. Not back there by design. Certainly not his qualifying attempt as he goes to the inside. Takes a peek into the bus stop. Can't get it done. Really got to have a solid run out of the S's down the backstretch to make that inside pass work. You almost want to hang on the guy's left door on entry so that you have the preferred next two lefts within that bus stop to make the move. Cote goes super wide out of the carousel. That's okay. That's not out of bounds. Some would say it is the preferred method to get around here. Some guys opt to stay to the right of the curbing. Haley in the stream chat, we need t-shirts. Well, I said get a hold of us on the Facebook side. We would find a way to send you one. But unless you just want to buy one, HBRshops.com. brand new website that has since come up. Brian Rose instrumental in getting that together. You can buy all kinds of stuff. HBR TV merch. You can buy driver merchandise. Nick Cote up into the 11th spot after getting around Chris Klein now. Justin Lawson next up the list. That would be for the 10th spot. Vincent Short now up into the 9th spot. Back out front, Zach Millett still running away with the field with the lead. 13.5 seconds back to P2. Alfie Charon just now getting into the bus stop. Andy Sizemore up into the 3rd spot after starting 4th. But man, Brian Rose on the tear. Up into 4th spot. Remember, we do have a competition caution coming at lap 20. The question was, were these guys going to be able to make it all the way to that yellow before having to make a pit stop? I would imagine some may make it to that point. Others maybe not. But either way, it kind of plays in their favor. You have some guys that will plan to short pit a stage. They'll come down, take their pit stop under the green flag. Track this size, you can certainly do that, not go down a lap. And then the guys that do make it on fuel, they pit under the yellow. Yes, they don't lose as much track position, but you get to pass them. You get to go back around while they're in the pits. You take that track position back. Yes, your tires aren't quite as new, but you had the pace to get that far ahead and make that opportunity. So Patrick Dixon says, can you show the battle for P3? Not much of a battle right now. Andy Sizemore running in 3rd, 23 seconds back. Brian Rose, 10 plus car lengths in the rearview mirror. Sizemore with the throwback Kevin Harvick paint scheme on the number 27 truck. Certainly looks strong out there, running well in the top 3, but Brian Rose is a-coming. Last lap for Sizemore, 1:16.98. Brian Rose, almost a 16 flat, so almost 9/10 of a second faster each lap. Brian Rose coming in a hurry. A little loose on exit is Sizemore. That's going to let Brian Rose close even closer. Riding on board with Sizemore as Brian Rose continues to track down the number 27. Probably could have gone with the 29 for this race, as I don't think anybody else is running that number, but either way, good looking truck nonetheless. Sizemore is 1775 now to Rose's 1650. Rose continues to close the gap. this battle continues, we're going to take an HBR TV side-by-side break before we get to the comp caution and pit stop. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Watkins Glen International, 17 laps in. Brian Rose, as you saw during the break, took over the third spot over Andy Sizemore. Meanwhile, Mike Adamson is in the pit lane. Maybe a lap early for the 751. Knowing he can't make it to lap 20, might as well come down now, get it over with. No traffic on pit lane, don't have to bother with any of that. Looks like fuel only, though, for the 751, or is he calling it a day? No, fuel only. Interesting strategy. At 11-second stop, it only would have been about 3 or 4 more seconds to bolt on 4 fresh Goodyears. Taking a look at the weather. Track temp 115 degrees, so it's a little warm out there today. It's going to wear tires. It's going to have them fall off quite a bit throughout the course of the run. Adamson just trying something here. Will have an opportunity during the caution to change his mind if necessary. Does manage to get that stop completed before Zach Millett can get to him, and we're still a couple of laps shy of the break. He's going to have to hustle to stay out in front of Zach Millett. Adamson running in the 12th spot. Millett might kind of tiptoe here, doesn't want to push the issue, doesn't need to lap Mike Adamson here, though he is awfully close, just a truck length off the tailgate of that 751 into the carousel. He's going to probably stay tight, or is he going to take it to the bottom? He thought about it. Looks like Adamson's going to give him the lane. Adamson going down a lap here, coming to start lap 20. Vincent Short in the pits. Now the question is Millett going to take an opportunity here to pit as well? He's just getting into turn 11. He is. Coming to the stage, Millett on pit lane as the race leader. I say stage, competition, caution, stage break, competition break, however you want to classify it. We don't run stages per se here in the DEP Graphics Truck Series. But Millett on pit road.
Getting ready to have a caution's out. Caution's out.
Caution comes out, so this is really going to help Millett if he can get this stop done quickly and get back out there. Remember, the trucks get pit the opposite as the norm here, so left sides first. Crew goes around to the right. Sunoco Race Fuel going into the 315 machine. He's down and away. 14.6 second stop for Millett. He leaves as the race leader. Gets the green flag stop done just before the caution. Maintains the top spot. Now, if I'm Zach Millett, I'm going to come down pit road anyway. Just top off the tanks. Put a little splash back in it. Yes, you're only going a lap under the caution flag here, but you want to get everything packed in there the best that you can so that final stop of the day is as short as possible. Yes, I know he's got plenty of pace. Doesn't really need to worry about it per se. But strategy can bite you no matter how fast you are. And Millett dropping to the back here. Not sure what the situation is. Trying to get a word here. For some reason, I see Zach is dropping to the tail of the field, it looks like. Again, a lot of these spots might get made up here as pit stops cycle through under caution. As it's shown right now, Brian Rose with the race lead. They haven't caught the pace car just yet. They need to hustle because the pace car is moving around and these guys are all kind of cruising. If they had caught the pace car quick enough, they could have been down pit lane this time. Now we've gone a whole another lap. Brian Rose is really turning that truck off, trying to save every drop of fuel he can. We very well could see guys run out under caution here. Would be a disaster. Coleman's going to come down. Most of these guys are going to try and come down pit lane anyway. They're going to take the penalty because they can't make it another lap. I almost kind of agree with them. Brian Rose probably could have done the same thing. If he doesn't make it back to pit lane, you got to wonder why, because he was able to knife his way through that field from the back from the start, and he had 20 laps to do it. He's going to have more than that to get to the finish this time, but many drivers down pit lane this time by. Definitely the Birdsong Brewing drivers in pit lane. See if Brian Rose still on track, trying to catch the pace car. Rose gets back around here. I got to imagine he's going to hit pit lane regardless at this point. I still haven't seen the pace car. Rose comes down with Sizemore, Durkee, Cote, Double O Joe Bennett. Millett coming out of the carousel right now. Still unsure what... Oh, he's got the pace car. Okay, so this makes more sense. That was the tail end of the field, though Brian Rose was up into the lead. Just the way the caution came out. It's got the running order kind of all messed up. But it does appear that Millett, as we had stated early on, was able to exit pit lane before being passed. Brian Rose completes his pit stop, 14.88 seconds. It's going to be, it could be a whole nother lap or two. Now, pace car lights are out, so we're going green next time by. We're on the one to go. Let's see where Brian Rose in the field that made their pit stop. They're just on the backstretch now, so they should be able to get back caught up before we get back around another time. Scott Milner in the pits. Out of fuel, it looks like. Let's ride on board and find out. No, just at pace speed, pit road speed, 35 miles an hour. So Brian Rose and Andy Sizemore work their way back through. Now, they're still being shown as the race leaders here. We'll see if that cycles out and changes as he gets to the stripe and timing and scoring gets its update. Across the stripe, Rose still categorized as the race leader. Ah, okay. So now they've given these drivers the wave around. So
We going green this time, bro? Negative.
they've waved off the restart. Still trying to get guys caught up, trying to get the running order right, just based on where the caution came out. So 23 laps in, going another lap. Should get the restart here at lap 24 if all goes well. It still remains to be seen because Brian Rose has got to catch that pace car. Tristan Sykes in the stream chat. Steve. Tristan. Vincent Short back down pit lane. I think this is his second stop. Fully expect just a fuel top off here for the 15 truck. Pace truck in 11, so is Brian Rose and Andy Sizemore. Cycled through here. Pace lights still on, so it'll be lap 25 when we go back to the green. A 20-lap sprint to the finish. With this opportunity, though, we're going to jump out and get one more break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Watkins Glen, green flag in the air. We're back racing. Down into turn one, Brian Rose battling Andy Sizemore once again. Brian has the inside lane. Sizemore going around the top side, no contact. Sizemore with a nose out in front. Up the hill into turn number two. Rose still to the inside. It's going to be the right combination. Now the advantage to Sizemore to the inside. Hard place to run 2 by 2. Millet up into the third spot, goes wide, maybe some contact. Sizemore to the point. Watch this battle during the break early on. Now we're live here at Watkins Glen International. Andy Sizemore continues the lead out of the carousel over Brian Rose and Zach Millet. Millet with a good run down the short chute into turn 10. Nothing doing though on Brian Rose. Brian Rose closes in big time there in the middle of turn 11. Sizemore continues to lead. Brian Rose with a good run out of turn one. Goes all the way up on the curb to driver's left into turn two. Now he's going to have the advantage up the hill into the S's. Brian Rose, a textbook pass, slides across the nose of the 27. Slow in, fast out. That's the name of the game down in turn one. You got to carry all that momentum on the exit all the way down the backstretch to the bus stop. Brian Rose executed that perfectly. Takes the spot away. Now Sizemore is going to hold off the 315 of Zach Millet as they work into the carousel. Again, lap 26. Millet right there making a look into turn 10. He's got position. Takes P2, or does he? Sizemore battling back to the inside at 11. Not going to have to run out of the corner. Millet's got him clear up to P2. Now on the hunt. Chase down his teammate, Brian Rose, for P1 here, lap 27 at Watkins Glen. Brian Rose continues to lead here at the Glen. Millet is closing in. Last lap was a 14:66 for Rose, a 15:52 for Millet, though he is starting to shrink that gap between the two trucks down into turn 10. Looking strong at the front of the field. This is a driver who hated road course racing just a year or two ago. Spent the time learning the craft through all the frustrations, got better and better at it, started to upgrade some hardware, specifically into his brake pedals. Continued to progress, learning the skill, learning the craft. He's gotten so much better at it as he continues to lead, but for how long? Millet taking a look to the inside, nothing doing there down the bus stop. Not close enough to make a move. Still holding off the 315 is Brian Rose. Battle for the third spot between Sizemore and Alfie Charon. That's just behind this battle for the lead. Rose down to the bottom, pins the right side of the truck on the curbing the best that you can. There's a lot of grip on that inside curb. Rose defends on exit, could have gone wide, chose not to. Millet taking a look. He's there, but not enough to make the move. Brian Rose making that truck awful wide, that HBRshops.com F-150, but Millet goes to the inside in 11. Times it perfectly, takes the spot. New leader out of 11 coming to lap 29, Zach Millet. Brian Rose back to the second spot. Sizemore hanging on to third, but for how long? Alfie Charon taking a look down into turn 1. Nothing doing for the 78, almost loses the truck. Got a lot of rear brake dialed into that thing, got to play with that throughout the run. Right on board with the 78. Drives it way deep into 10, locks him up, contact! Alfie Charon, bull in a china shop. Pretty significant contact between himself and the 27 machine as they get up 11. Sizemore takes the spot back. I think that actually might have been Alfie giving it back to him. Alfie's not the type to force his way in, but fortunately he locked up the tires a bit, slid up the racetrack, got tight, got into the 27. It really hurt his truck more than Sizemore as they continue to battle up through the S's. Sizemore into P3, Charon still running in behind in fourth. Double O Joe Bennett having a strong afternoon. Haven't talked a whole lot about him today, but he's up 6 spots, looking for a top 5 here at the Glen. Back to this battle for the third position. Sizemore has it. Charon's wanting to take it away, trying to find a way. Ooh, over-rotate for Sizemore. Oh, and he's on the throttle, out of the throttle, having to lift, can't get the power down. Charon's got to run into turn 10 once again. Goes to the inside. Sizemore cuts him off. Real loose on exit. Rear tire's awful hot for Sizemore. It's going to take time to cool them off. It's just going to get worse. Sizemore still maintains P3, but just a couple of truck lengths back to Alfie Charon. What's it going to take here? Millet still with the race lead, 2.7 seconds over teammate Brian Rose as these two continue to battle for position. It's the closest battle on the racetrack thus far, and Sizemore really has the run out of the S's into the backstretch. Charon does have the assist from a bit of a slipstream in a draft off that 27. Real good under braking into the bus stop. You see how much Charon closes the gap. It's within a truck length. But on exit, oh, a little loose once again for Sizemore. Again, those rear tires awful hot. He's going to have trouble getting the power down out of this corner. Keep an eye on the 27 truck. Gets too far to the inside. Still lays a patch of rubber down. Sharon is there once again. Seems to be his strong point is into turn 10, but can't get the run out of the carousel enough to make the move. Took a peek to the inside at 11. That can be done as well. We saw Zach Millett make that pass on Brian Rose just a handful of laps ago. Alfie slides to the inside, doesn't have enough of a run again to outbreak the 27. I think if he can stay in the mirrors of Sizemore, he might be able to force a mistake. And there's one just now. Can't get the power down. Alfie goes to the outside into turn 2. Might have him clear. He does. Alfie Charon to P3. Sizemore now slips back to 4th. Again, Sizemore did take tires on the pit stop at lap 21. Doesn't mean they're not smoking hot right now. What a battle we've gotten to see here at Watkins Glen, not just for the lead, but back for the 3rd position as well. Great racing action here on a road course. It's unfortunately something we don't get to see too often with stock cars, or in this case, trucks. It's usually a handful of guys that are good on road courses. They usually just check out, much like Zach Millett is doing now on Brian Rose, but we still got to see plenty of action on track battles for position, but now things starting to spread out. Mike Adamson running in the 5th position. He's got 00 Joe Bennett taking that position away. I think the difference between those two is strictly tires. Maybe, maybe not. Joe Bennett's made 2 pit stops. His second stop might have just been a top off for some fuel. Again, the pit window about 19 laps, at least under the green flag for these guys. Remember, Zach Millett made his stop at lap 19. We went 5 laps under the caution flag before we went back to green. So the question is going to remain is, will Zach have to save some fuel here to make it to the finish without stopping, or was that an early pit stop for Millett? Was he just shortcutting the stage, or the competition caution for that matter? It's not one of the rules that was addressed here in Numb Thumbs in the DEP Graphics Truck Series, was closing pit lane prior to the caution coming out. Again, it's not a stage per se. Many leagues will close the pits in that instance to take away the advantage of that driver pitting before the yellow comes out, as to not go down a lap. Again, this track's so big, and Millett had the lead that he did, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But he's likely going to have to make one more stop, get to the end. Interestingly enough, though, Adamson and Bennett continue to fight for position. Adamson was much quicker the last time. We'll see where it stacks up this time by. Adamson is 16:91, 00 Joe is 17:12, so not a huge difference between the two, but Mike is starting to stretch it out. Four laps in. 12 remain. Now 11 laps to go. Zach Millett down into turn 1 with a healthy advantage over second place Brian Rose. He's lapped up to P8. Justin Lawson in the 20 truck. Exiting the carousel right now, where Millett's just going up the hill through the S's. '31 is Scott Milner, letting the leader go by cleanly. Oh, Milner through the carousel, goes wide. Gets her back on the track without incident. Well, Justin Lawson on pit lane. Remember, he was the last truck on the lead lap. He's gambling here, I'm going to guess, knowing that he can make a stop here. Does he take maybe left sides? It's going to be about the same amount of time. We'll change the handle on the truck. Goes up on the jack. Let's see if it's only 2 tires. Nope, crew goes around to the right side. 4-tire Sunoco Racing fuel for Justin Lawson. Jack is hitting the ground here, and they're down and away. 14.77 second stop. Good stop for Justin Lawson. Back in the action. Smooth sailing from here on out. 10 laps to go. Brian Rose from the second spot. Down pit lane as well. Misses the box, has to back it up. That's not a huge problem, but it is certainly a loss of time. It was fuel only. 7.9 seconds in the pit box for Brian Rose. He's down and away. So now the question remains, does Zach Millett have enough Tiger in the tank to make it all the way to the checkers? More importantly, if he wins this thing, does he have enough to celebrate? Keep a close eye on it here. If he has to pit, it will likely be just before the white flag. Looking at his lap times, though, minute 15:06 was the last trip around the circuit. His fastest of the day at 13:47, almost qualifying pace. Let's ride on board and listen to Zach Millett, see if he's doing the old lift and coast, trying to save some fuel to make it to the finish. Millett is certainly not saving a drop of fuel out there. 14.91 the lap last time by. So maybe he knows he's good to go. Hard to say. Some of these guys do run built-in apps that will help calculate fuel mileage and such. Drivers down pit lane, Mike Adamson, Nick Code. Remember, Nick had an issue on that first lap. Certainly hurt his day. Looks like that's an old Kyle Petty paint scheme, and he has to back it up as well. Uses the fast repair, had a little bit of damage on that Toyota Tundra. Fuel only for the 94. Nick's down and away. Final stop of the day for the 94. Laps to go for Zach Millett as he works his way up through the S's one more time. Alfie Charon down into turn 1. He's running second now, 16 seconds back. Millett and Charon both pit at the same time, lap 19. Andy Sizemore was lap 21, so he should be okay to go to the end. Double O Joe, 23. He's good to go to the end. Brian Rose lap 35. He's running in P5. Got about 6 laps to go before this one's over. He's got some work to do. He's got his fingers crossed that some of these guys either have to pit or just start running out of fuel. They might be gambling, which I can't say that I blame them for doing it. Back once again, Millet. Lap time slowing again. Minute 16.202 versus his 13:46 was his fastest. Millet's still on the chip though, down into 1. Just might be a matter of tire fall off right now. We're at 15:29 the last time by. Is the Birdsong Brewing Machine against the 19 of Coleman. Cote a lap down after his pit stop. I got to give a hand to Nick Cote, though, battling it back up into that 7th position after that first lap. Can't even call it a crash, but Millet's on pit lane. Forced to stop with 5 laps to go. I can almost guarantee this is going to be a fuel-only stop. Millet realizing he's not going to have enough to make it to the finish. Remember, Alfie Charon pit on the same lap as Millet the last time. He does it again now. 78 machine down into the pits. Millet down and away, 6.3 seconds. Splash and go for the 315. Exits pit lane here. Might have been able to keep the top spot over Andy Sizemore. He does. Sizemore just a second in the rear view mirror. Millet's certainly going to have enough to make it to the end now, as long as they got that thing full up to where it needed to be. Probably didn't need much. They went 19 laps on a tank of fuel the first time. Millet putting another second to 2 seconds on Sizemore just through a handful of corners. Sizemore, though, having a strong day. Started 4th, hasn't really been out of this thing at any point today. Some great battles on the track, led some laps, currently runs in the 2nd spot. Joe Bennett, same thing really. Started 11th. Brian's in front of Brian Rose as Brian's closing in pretty quickly here. Remember, Brian did pit, but again, no tires for the 89 truck. As the laps wind down here at Watkins Glen, can Brian get on by 00 Joe here? From the back of the field, remember, had to take that EOL penalty to start this for, well, frankly, losing his temper last week at Chicagoland. Again, Brian Rose, not a road racer per se, an oval guy through and through. Used to race go-karts as a kid. That's about where it ended. Oh, and Sizemore in trouble. Andy Sizemore around. Exit at turn 1, puts it in the Armco, has to gather it back up. He's back under power, but man, a great day going south. Oh, he's still trying to get that thing gathered up. Let's see what happened. This is exit at turn 1. Goes wide, puts the power down, and just, oh, tank slapper. Seen it happen so many times there. I've done it myself. Some damage to the nose of that machine. Wise to let the field go by, taking a look at those trucks coming on by. Agonizing to let them go, but you got to do it. Tough break for Andy Sizemore. Looks like he's going to land, it looks like in the 11th position. I think he actually did tow to the pit, so he may be out of this one. So, top 3, Zach Millet, Brian Rose, 00 Joe Bennett, Alfie Charon, Mike Adamson. Bennett's got Paul Durkee as kind of a placeholder in between himself and Alfie Charon. Alfie's got to hustle, though. He's going to have to dig deep here to catch Double O Joe. The last lap, Bennett was a minute 19 to Alfie's minute 16. Deficit between these two. Just a couple of seconds, so if Alfie can dispose of Durkee very quickly here, make a clean pass, should be able to challenge Double O Joe for that top 3 position. Remember, Joe was in the top 3 last week. Just hoping to survive here this week. Having a good run. Alfie goes way wide out of 10. Alfie down into turn 1. Bennett still having the lap truck and Durkee in between. It's 2 laps to go here from the Glen. Bennett ran a 17:05 the last time. Charon is 16:24, still quicker, but he's gonna have to hustle and get that lap truck out of the way if he's gonna challenge for that 3rd spot. He's right on the back bumper of the 20. Goes to the inside. Sorry, that's the 13. Apologies. Now he's got a lap, maybe a lap and a half to catch and pass Joe Bennett. He's got the speed. Let's see if he can do it. White flag in the air, though. Zach Millett crosses the stripe. 1 lap to go. Putting on a clinic here this afternoon. Almost loses it into 1. Tail end of the truck gets real sideways on the brakes into turn 1. He gathers it up, doesn't spin the truck, but that was a close one. Late race dramatics here at the Glen. Speaking of dramatics, at the stripe, battle for the 3rd spot. Alfie Charon to the outside, Joe Bennett on the inside. Side by side for the 3rd spot here on the final lap at Watkins Glen. Into turn number 2, Alfie's got him clear. Move the 78 machine to P3 here on the final lap. Ryan Rose solidly in P2, but he is 18 seconds back from Zach Millett. As Millett works the carousel for the final time. Over into the runoff, real loose once again. Tires burning off that 315 machine. Final time through turns 10 and 11. Real loose at the flag. Zach Millett takes the checkered flag, wins. The Holly Boys racing 110 at the Glen. Brian Rose quite a ways back, still going to finish in the 2nd spot if he can just wrap up turns 10 and 11 cleanly. Let's tell you, another few laps, I think Alfie Charon would have had something to say about it too. Rose shaking the tanks at the finish line, just enough fuel to get it home. Zach Millett burning it down already into turn 1. Zach Millett certainly a happy camper here at Watkins Glen International. Rose, Alfie Charon getting caught up here. It's your top three out of the carousel. Photo-worthy moment here, folks. All these guys have really worked hard on their racecraft. Comes to road racing. Top three park on the front stretch. We're going to jump out, get our final break out of the way, get our top three finishers in the broadcast booth after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Watkins Glen International, the Holler Boys racing 110 at the Glen is in the books. Zach Millett with the race win. Brian Rose, Alfie Charon, the top three. Let's try and get a word with our race winner, the driver of the 315, that S4 guy, Zach Millett. It's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got us?
Hey, Steve, got a copy.
Man, congratulations. I know you're expected to do really well on these road courses. You're lights out fast just about every time you strap into one of these trucks on these road courses. But it wasn't necessarily the easiest. We know you had plenty of pace, but you still had to work through it. You had to make some on-track passes throughout the event, man. Tell us how you did it. What was the strategy coming in? I know we had to do a late pit stop for fuel, but walk us through the plans for the night, and did you stick to them?
Yeah, I think we did for the most part. Myself, Alfie, and Brian, we were kind of sticking to the same game plan. And that was only if Brian could get through the field like he did. He flew through the field, man. It's a hell of a job by him tonight. But yeah, basically with the 70%, it left you in a really weird spot, you know. Unless you saved the entire first stint to the point of where you're really off pace, you could make the stage. But then you're pitting, and you're going to have a whole bunch of people who already pit in front of you, so it didn't really benefit you too much. So we just kind of decided to pit when we needed fuel, and play the cards like that. And then kind of strange how the caution worked out there. I think Alfie and me were 1 and 2 coming in, and somehow we came out like 4th or 5th or something. It was a little confusing for a little bit, but we got our spots back and didn't turn out too bad.
I mean, looking at the timing and scoring, it should have cycled through with you guys still out in front, because you had enough of a lead that the pit stops were complete. You were out of pit lane before they caught you, but it's usually an iRacing glitch. We've seen that happen before. It is what it is. It didn't kill you. You ended up making it back up into the front here, but that final pit stop, obviously it was going to be fuel only. It seemed like everybody and their brother, with the exception of maybe a couple of drivers, were taking fuel only. I did notice there, after taking the white, almost threw it away. Rear end of the truck pitched out quite a bit on the brakes into turn number 1. Did you run into a little bit of wheel hop there? And how were the tires, though, going a little bit further than that previous run?
Oh man, they were awful. They were absolutely awful. You really had to time your rev matches on your downshifts. If you didn't, you really paid for it. And that was a prime example of just not kicking it enough. But yeah, I mean, it was loose the entire race. Even on new tires, it was kind of a nightmare. But I mean, that's kind of how these trucks are on road courses, and it's not quite as bad as, say, Sonoma or Coda or even the Roval. So I mean, this one you're just going so much faster. It's actually easier to control because it's faster.
More downforce on the truck at speed, that is for sure. Next week we go into Las Vegas Motor Speedway. No more right turns for the balance of the season. How do you feel about Vegas?
Well, I miss the right turns for sure, but Vegas is fun. I mean, it's kind of just wide open, wide open until you get side by side, and I don't know, it's kind of scary there. We've run well there in the past, but I don't know. We'll see what it's like. It's probably going to be one of those eco races where strategy comes to play.
Well, Zach, again, congratulations, man. A clinic you have put on here at the Glen. Good luck next week. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Well, I got to thank you, Steve, and HBR TV for the broadcast. I think this race was sponsored by HBR, right? Pretty sure.
HBR, Holler Boys Racing Team, not TV, but close.
HBR and HBR, beautiful thing. Got to thank my teammates on HBR. We definitely put the laps in, and we get some practice in. It's good strategy all throughout the race. It really makes these wins possible. But got to thank the NTRL, Track Bar Media, Eric Dotson, State Farm, Castle Products, Fahey Race Wraps. God, I think that's pretty much it. Shoot me a follow over on Twitch at ThatS4Guy.
All right, Zach. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Nice job, and good luck next week.
Thanks, man.
Zach Millett, your race winner. Next, we're going to go to runner-up Brian Rose. Get a word with the driver of the HBRShops.com number 89 of Brian Rose. Brian, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I'm here, Steve.
Brian, congratulations, man. A solid second-place finish here at Watkins Glen, doing that behind Zach Millett. It's got to feel like a win. I know it's not the same trophy, but it's certainly close, man. Tell us about your race.
Hey, that EOL penalty at the start of the race really set us behind. Just trying to be patient and, ride behind guys and see where I was faster than they were and try to pick them off by being patient and, not sending it in there and put myself in a bad spot. Working our way up at this, this HBR Shops Ford, it's fast tonight. I got to thank Eric Dotson, State Farm, and Trap Bar, that S4 guy. We've had some bad luck, this season, and it kind of put us behind. Hopefully going into the playoffs now we can turn it around and go up there and challenge Zach.
Certainly going to be a fun one to watch here. Again, a solid finish here. I know you had trouble kind of putting things together as far as the whole race was concerned. on these road courses. It seems as of late, not just here in Numb Thumbs, but even I think it was in the Noble Racing Series, your run on the road courses, things seem to be looking up. What's been the secret to better performances here on the road course?
Hey, I got to go right to you guys and Holly Boys Racing. I got some of the best road course guys that get out there each week. As you just learn from them, watch what you guys are doing. Zach and you and Alfie right there, man. Everybody, if you just pay attention, ride behind some fast guys, you'll learn something. But man, thanks to Numb Thumbs for putting this on each week. Castle Packs Powered Products, Black Diamond Gaming, Country Designs, and if you want a really cool wrap, go to Fahey Race Wraps, man. He'll hook you up. But yeah, let's move on to next week. I'm glad we could put a whole race together and bring it home P2.
Well, speaking of next week, Las Vegas Motor Speedway is certainly much more in your wheelhouse. How do you feel about going out west, the Diamond in the Desert?
You know what? I think I might be missing that race, and it sucks because it is going to be the first race of the playoffs. But it's going to put us in a little bit of a hole, but should be good to go to the end. We're going to try to make it back. Got some stuff going on there next Tuesday that I'll be out of town for, but we're going to try to hustle back and get in the rig, started up, and that's a real good track for me. I do pretty good there. Usually average, top 3 finish all the time. So we'll try. If we can't, we'll just have to climb out of that hole that we've dug ourselves in all season and climb back out of it. But, it's still a long way to go to the end.
That's all you can do, Brian. Again, congratulations on P2 here tonight. Good luck next week at Vegas if you get the chance to get in that truck.
Thank you, guys.
It's Brian Rose, your runner-up here at the Glen. Next, we're going to bring Alfie Charon. I guess you can call Alfie Charon a bit of an HBR associate. He's not an official team driver, at least not yet. Still in talks. Got to talk to his agent and get that thing squared away. But Alfie, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got us?
I got you, Steve. How you doing?
We're doing well, Alfie. Congratulations, man. A solid run here this afternoon. You started outside front row, finished P3, and it wasn't for a lack of trying. Watch the battle of you trying to get through a lap truck just to track down 00 Joe Bennett. You got side by side on the front stretch on that white flag lap and took the spot away down into turn 1, man. How did you do it? How did you get that lap car out of the way? I mean, what was the strategy throughout the race? I got so many questions, man.
Strategy throughout the race was just try not to wreck it on the old tires, and I knew Zach was going to be faster, so I was just trying to maintain my own pace but keep them guys behind me. I seen Brian coming quick through the field, and he got up to third, and I kind of got a little scared. But I mean, for 00 Joe, it was scary. I thought he was gonna not break enough, but he did a phenomenal job holding it on the inside and didn't come up into me and wreck us both. I got to give him a lot of props for racing me clean right there. To get by the lap car, though, it was a little tricky. I had to wait for him to make a mistake, as you've seen when he was coming off turn 11. Helped me get down into behind 00 Joe right there. And after that, I was trying to, even though it was the last lap, I was still trying to catch that 89. He's fast.
I said it as you rolled off at turn 11. If this race was about 5 laps longer, we might have been able to see a battle for that second spot between yourself and Brian Rowe. It's just not meant to be. Again, 45 laps here. It's not a short race by any means, but you guys got it done in a pretty good amount of time. It was a pretty good race. It was fun to watch. Plenty of battles throughout the event. But next week, change of things. They're not going right and left. We're just going left. We're going to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Kind of, as we said to Brian Rowe, it's more in your wheelhouse as well. How do you feel about Vegas?
Vegas. You're a broadcaster in many leagues, and I don't know if you remember this, but in another league you broadcast for, I qualified pole at Vegas and looped it on turn 2, and that happened to be at Vegas, and Zach almost got wrecked in that race. I'm hoping that's not a repeat for this one. Hopefully I can put it on pole and actually make a lap this time. I'm excited though. I think I can give Zach a run for his money at Vegas.
Well, see, now I got to roll back the tape and see if I can find that incident so I can play it before next week's race. But I wouldn't do that to you.
It's fine if you would. I'm just the HBR associate. You got to pick on the new guy.
All right, Alfie. Well, again, congratulations, man. Solid top 3 here at the Glen. Who do you want to shout out to?
I just got to thank you for broadcasting. Numb Thumbs, Derek for putting the league on. HBR Shops, Eric Dodson, Track Bar, That S4 Guy, Castle Packs Power, Black Diamond Gaming, Country Designs, and if you want a cool wrap like Zach and Brian, check out Fahey Race Wraps.
All right, Alfie. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Certainly good luck next week. Maybe more than a couple of laps before you loop it.
Thank you so much.
Alfie Charon, your third place finisher here at the Glen. Let's take a look at our race results. Of course, we've already spoken to our top 3 finishers. Fourth place was Double O Joe Bennett. Hard fought finish for Double O Joe Bennett. Certainly impressive run for him. Mike Adamson was 5th. Another good run for him as well. Played some strategy, worked his way, didn't give up, stayed in the fight. P5 for Adamson. Nick Cote, a good recovery for him as well. First lap crash into turn 10. Minor crash, minimal damage. Got it fixed there late. P6 for Nick Cote. Chris Klein was 7th. Justin Lawson was 8th. Paul Durkee 9th. Brandon Coleman was 10th. Blaine Woodruff, P11. For a guy that doesn't run road races, congratulations, Blaine Woodruff. P11, not too shabby. Scott Milner was 12th. Tony Polk, 13th. Robert Chipman Jr., 14th. Andy Sizemore, tough break for Andy. Looped it out of turn 1. Tank slapper into the Armco. Finishes this one 15th. He was running, I think, 3rd at the time. So tough break for Andy. Vincent Short, also 16th, 23 laps down. Not sure what happened to Vince. Didn't see a major issue with him anywhere in the timing and scoring. But either way, a tough break. Vince usually runs decent on these road courses. Juan Jimenez, P17. He was out of this one early as well. Timothy Pope, 45 laps down, did not take the green flag. 19th finisher, Jeff Ottinger, did not take the green as well. Still will get credit with that final run position. That's going to wrap it up for us here at HBR TV at Watkins Glen International Race 10, the DEP Graphics Truck Series, HBR 110 at the Glen. If you guys haven't already done so, check us out. The new website, hbrtv1.com. Still under construction, but some functionality to it. Certainly hot links to Facebook and YouTube. And as always, we got to ask, like, follow, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications to both of those platforms, most importantly on YouTube, so you don't miss a minute of any of the live streaming action here on iRacing that we are covering Sunday through Thursday presently. Big things to come here in the future over the summer and then into fall. Forthcoming information on that will be posted on Facebook when it becomes available. It's going to wrap it up for us here at Watkins Glen International. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, congratulating Zach Millett on his race win here tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.